Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today, we're going to be looking at the Wuben X3 Owl. Let's start off with some of the basics on the X3. As far as output, it's listed up to 700 lumens on the turbo mode, and that's on your standard light. And that's listed at reaching out to 120 meters. Now note that is a floody beam. And also it can go up to 80 lumens on the red light. Now as far as size, it's 70 millimeters long, or 2.7 inches. Also, it's 35 millimeters wide, or 1.37 of an inch. And 21 millimeters deep, which would be this measurement here, and that's 0.82 of an inch. And as far as weight, we're looking at 70 grams or 2.4 ounces. This is a very, very small and lightweight flashlight. Now, as far as user interface, it's very simple here. So when you click the button and turn it on, if you just do one click, it's going to turn it on to whatever your last used mode was. So we'll start here on the low mode, and you'll see we're looking at 1 lumen at level 1. And if I hold it down, I can go to the next setting. Now we're at 50 lumens at level 2. And if I continue to hold it down, 150 lumens at level 3. If you continue to hold on to the button, though, it's going to take you back down to the lowest setting, because that's your low, medium, and high. If you want turbo, you need to double click, and that's how you get into turbo 700 lumens, and then you single click to turn it back off, and then another single click to get back into it. Now if we turn it back off, if we do a hold from off, that takes us into the red light. Okay, so here you'll see level 1 lumen. Now this only has 2 levels on the red light, low and high, and that's where you have your level 2 80 lumens. If you continue to hold it, it takes you back to the level 1. If you double click, it does nothing because it's just a low and high on the red light. Okay. Additionally, a triple click will give you strobe mode. If you click this 4 times, it gives you manual lockout mode. And that's basically to prevent it from turning on your pocket if you prefer that. So now, if the button gets pressed, nothing happens, and you'll see the little lock feature comes out. If you want out of it, you just need to click that 4 times again, and now we're back to a normal standard mode. So that's the really simple user interface on this. Let's go ahead and take a look at some beam shots, and then when we get back, we'll talk about why I think this light is so fantastic. Okay, so we're outside with the Wuben X1, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on. And hopefully you can see here how great that blue auxiliary light looks outside in the nighttime. And so we're on the 1 lumen mode right now, and you'll see that's mainly an indoor use. That's your moonlight mode, so it's not doing a whole lot outside, and it's also not super dark out yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this up to the 50 lumens. Okay. And there's where you see a big jump between that 1 lumen to the 50 lumens. Okay. And we're getting some light up on the tree, but still 50 lumens isn't a ton. Alright, now let's go up to the 150 lumen now. And again, another big jump there. And it's still plenty for what you'd need on an everyday basis of what you're going to be using. We're going to light up this tree here. I probably could have let it get a little bit darker outside, but I think you can still see we're getting plenty of light on that tree. And now let's kick it into turbo. There we go. And we're getting a ton of that backyard lit up, and you see no defined hotspot or anything like that for the most part. This is more of a floody style everyday carry light. Looks great. Now let's go ahead and switch it over to the red light, and I do want to point out real quick how well that glow in the dark works after you turn the light off. Now let's go into the red light mode, and of course this is our 1 lumen red light. And as far as lumens on a red light, you need significantly less. It shows up a lot easier. So you'll see that's just 1 lumen right there. Now let's go ahead and kick it up to the 80, and that is a lot of light right there coming out of that red light. We can almost reach the back of the yard with it. You can see the tree. Normally when I'm doing a review, I go ahead and write down a list for myself showing the pros and the cons of the flashlight. But instead this time I have the fantastic and the cons. And that's because the pros are just so fantastic on this. So let's get down to it. As far as the fantastic, first thing we'll note is the screen indicator. Okay, so this might remind you of the Nightcore EDC 27, and you'll see it tells you what level you're at, the amount of lumens, and your battery life. And I just think that that's absolutely great to have. It's something that both an enthusiast and somebody who's kind of new into flashlights can enjoy, both the same. Now, of course, we've got to talk about the fact that this is both a flashlight and a right angle flashlight. So it's actually 2 flashlights in one, and the fact that it's also got a magnet on the bottom. So now when you're sticking it to something and you may be out working on something or whatever, you can stick it to, you know, the hood of your car or whatever, and you can use it as a right angle light or as a standard flashlight, whatever's easiest for you, whatever's more convenient. A lot of clips on flashlights have this little mounting system here where it just clips onto the flashlight and kind of hangs on. And there's nothing wrong with that, but this is pretty much the standard go-to as far as flashlight clips. But on the Wuben X3, that's actually screwed into the body of the Wuben X3. So this clip is going to stay strong. It's going to stay on there. It's good to go. And also you'll see how the body dips in here, where they actually cut into the body, and so now the clip does not take up any extra room in your pocket. It just stays nice and level with the rest of the body of the light. The button on the Wuben X3 has to be complimented. If I can get a good picture here for you, you'll see that it's kind of got this swirly design on it. It actually feels a lot like the button on the Sofirn SC32 and the Workos TS10. It's a fantastic button. I couldn't have asked for this to be any better on this little light. It's wonderful to press. It feels good. And as some of you already know, it's my favorite button on an EDC Light. I'm a sucker for a red light on a flashlight as well, so the fact that they included a low and high mode red light on this only made this all the better for me. I believe every flashlight that you carry should have some type of bezel, something to give it a little bit of resistance against drop protection. And as you'll see, the lens is actually recessed into the bezel here, so this outer frame of the head actually serves as a bezel, so if you drop this on the head, it's not going to land directly on that lens. It'll land on this outer rim of the bezel. Now you might have noticed with the body here, this interesting little design, this is where it actually is wireless charging capable. So if you spend the extra $20, you can get this to where it comes with a little box. And you can charge up that box and keep it with you, and you just plug this right into it, and you can actually carry the Wuben X3 in that little box, and it will charge this wirely. It's a really neat feature to have. I kind of wish I would have spent the extra money and ordered it that way. Instead, I went with a small charging base that plugs in with the USB-C cable, and I just plug it in and charge it wired. But the wireless charging feature is really cool, and it's a nice addition to be able to have if you went with that feature by getting that little case. The X3 also has these blue auxiliary lights that turn on when you use the flashlight, and you can turn that off with 5 clicks and it won't come on at all if you don't like that, or you can turn it back on with 5 clicks. Personally, I love this feature. I think it's great to have, so while you're using your flashlight, it's really easy to see what's going on if you drop the flashlight. It's just nice to be able to have. Additionally, there is some glow in the dark inside this body here, and you notice that after you use the light for a while, especially on higher modes, and then you set it down in the dark, it will stay glowing for a little while, just that standard green glow in the dark. Another thing that makes the X3 so great is that there's a new body style of flashlights that have really been catching popularity, and we see it in the Nitecore EDC 27, the Streamlight Wedge, the Olight Arcfeld. We see it where it's these lights that are long but then have this boxy shape. Because you know, when you're carrying a round flashlight in your pocket, you feel that, and it just doesn't feel normal. Like, you definitely feel it in your pocket. And so people are going with these more rectangle shaped lights. Well, this is able to capture that while being much shorter than those. So it still has that rectangle feel to it. And so you don't really feel it in your pocket whatsoever. But it's not nearly as long. So, I mean, it takes up pretty much no pocket space at all. I absolutely love how both tiny this is and how great that it carries in pocket. And another thing is the build quality. When I initially saw this online, I really didn't think too much of it. I thought it's a weird looking light. How, you know, this finish on the bottom here, this translucent finish, is so different than the top. And I just thought that's weird. Eventually, I ended up ordering it. And as you can see, I'm absolutely in love with this light. The build quality feels so good. It feels like a high-end flashlight in my hands. It is absolutely worth it. I went and showed it immediately within a couple days of getting this. I took it and showed some friends, and they immediately wanted to order it because it's just such a fantastic light. Now, on to a couple things that I think that I have to mention, though, as far as the cons. And I could only think of a couple here. And for some of you, this is going to be a deal breaker. Due to the shape and the way the layout is on this light, it means it's proprietary batteries and proprietary charging. So you can either charge it in that wireless charging box, or you can charge it on that little wired stand that I mentioned. Other than that, though, there's really no way to like take out batteries and charge them yourself. This is all proprietary, and that means if this flashlight ever fails on you, if the internal proprietary battery ever goes bad, you're out of a flashlight. As far as price, it's listed at $81 on Amazon or $109 if you get it with that charging case. However, it's currently running for 20% off on both the regular version and the version that comes with that wireless charging case. So my overall opinion is that it is my new standard carry. It's going to be in my pocket the majority of the time. It's taken the place of my beloved Sofar and SC32. And of course, I still have a rotation. Of course, I still have different lights that I'll be carrying. But this is going to be my main go-to for now on. And I just could not be any happier with it. Thanks for watching.